What's crack-a-lackin', fellow organic life forms? It is I, the fleshy, furry, and squishy Channel Pup, from the famed YouTube channel, Channel Pup. As you can see, everything is exactly the same as normal on this channel, of which I am the regular host. This video is sponsored by NordVPN because of course it is, yada yada yada, and if you all just hit subscribe right now, we can get through this a lot faster. Now, if you were to ask me, hey there Channel Pup, what's the worst Batman movie? My gut instinct, and yes I do have guts, would be to say Suicide Squad. But let's not be so impulsive here. Is Suicide Squad even a movie? Well, that's debatable. I, for one, as an organic creature with their own opinion outside of my binary programming, would say no, but outsider input on that matter is always welcome. But is it a Batman movie? Considering Batman is on screen for the best part of 2 human minutes, if that, probably not. Now, in the opinion of me, the totally organic Channel Pup, as far as live-action Batman films go, there are no bad Batman movies. Yes, you heard that right. I like all of them. I love the Adam West movie. I love the 2 Keaton films. The trilogy from director Christopher Nolan. I even love the ones with Chris O'Dowd as Robin. While there may be some problematic storytelling here and there, or some outright fundamentally misjudged decisions, I can safely find things to enjoy about all of them. They are inoffensive to me at worst. Surprisingly enough, the one Batman film that I, the totally organic Channel Pup, really dislike, if we are not counting Suicide Squad, is an animated film that appears to take place in the universe of Batman the Animated Series, and that is 2017's Batman and Harley Quinn. The character of Harley Quinn has developed a big reputation over the years as a female former accomplice of the Joker, who has gone on to pursue many adventures of her own with her own sense of humor and fan-servicey outfits that will appeal to the sexual gazes of human beings, while she is known more today as something of an anti-hero. Where there are fun stories to be found in the world of Harley Quinn as we know it today, it does seem that the world of DC Comics has lost touch with the more tragic side to Harley Quinn, the psychiatrist who fell into a toxic and abusive human relationship with the Joker, further dehumanizing the character of the Joker while creating one of the darkest origin stories in the DC universe. The prospect of Harley Quinn's co-creator Bruce Timm returning to write for the character in an animated film that teams her up with Kevin Conroy's portrayal of the Batman seems like the ideal palate cleanser after Suicide Squad taught us all what it is like to swallow urinal cakes. While it is nice to see squishy human being Bruce Timm embracing Harley Quinn's more modern reputation, it is disappointing to see that he has lost touch with the character's roots, or, worse yet, lost his touch altogether, it would seem, based on this movie. Unfortunately, I am not programmed to say that Batman and Harley Quinn is inoffensive at worst this time. Frankly, Batman and Harley Quinn is actively annoying, grating, and sometimes might make organic life forms such as myself engage in the discharge of bodily fluids, including gastric acid found in the stomach, through the throat, and then to the mouth. Or in the abbreviated term, puking, but where components are degrading. The film does not begin in too shabby of a manner. Batman and Nightwing, both portrayed by their respective voice actors from the popular Batman animated series, are investigating an attack at a laboratory involving Poison Ivy and the Floronic Man, and they deduce that to get information on Poison Ivy, they need to work with Harley Quinn. The setup for this team-up between Batman and Harley is very thin on the ground and fast, as it is basically the first solution they come up with. While the dialogue so far feels much more clunky than Batman the Animated Series, and the animation is a slightly looser take on the Season 4 style, it works relatively okay. It is evident that this film has something on its mind. We've got a scene where an Argus agent refers to Lady Shiva saying, "I wouldn't mind a piece of that pie if you know what I mean," followed by Nightwing asking around the neighborhood if people know where Harley Quinn is. A homeless man asks to keep the picture, and an old man starts lusting over her tuchus. Nightwing goes to investigate a restaurant called Super Babes, where all the waitresses all dress as sexy versions of female DC characters, and the camera does not just linger, it lusts after the female body parts. Harley Quinn goes to serve a man who tries to grab her hiney. Yep, this is a film that has one thing on its mind: sex. Now, sex being a theme in film is not necessarily a negative thing, but put it this way, the film looks more like a Saturday morning cartoon, goes out of its way to have a wacky sense of humor that will appeal to children, avoids using curse words, and has a very simple plot about Poison Ivy and a tree man trying to take over the world. But in the first 9 minutes of the film, there have been 5 not-so-subtle innuendos. So, Nightwing follows Harley home after her shift at the Super Babes restaurant and asks her for help to take down Ivy. She tries to tell him that she is retired and that she wants to live a normal life, but then he grills her about working minimum wage and wearing skimpy outfits, when she could be using her psychiatric skills for a career. Okay, A. The name Harleen Quinzel is going to be a big red flag on any resume she has at this point, and B. Mind your business, dick. So then she tries to tell him that she wants nothing to do with it, and Nightwing threatens her with jail time. I guess you could say Nightwing is kinda a Richard in this movie. I guess you could say that Nightwing is kinda a penis in this movie. So she fights him, knocks him out with Joker venom, and the fight is over. Meanwhile, Batman is looking at leaves with the Argus guy, and surmises from a leaf that it is from another dimension and that Ivy's plan will have world-ending consequences. So, back at Harley's apartment, Nightwing is tied to the bed in which humans like to sleep in, such as myself, except I am a dog. While Harley explains how hard life is as an ex-convict, she realizes she needs a shower after the fight, realizing that she is a bit sweaty and stinky. She strips to her underwear, and of course, because Bruce Timm wrote this, Nightwing gets a boner while the camera lingers on Harley Quinn's ass. She notices, and they fornicate. Not on screen or anything, but still, one must ask, what is it with Bruce Timm DC animated films and shipping random characters who have no business with each other? We then move over to a scene with Ivy and the Floronic Man, and now, let me level with you, viewer. I am programmed to be a pretty liberal guy, and I don't buy into the whole blah blah woke SJW agenda pushing lecture being a valid criticism, but Ivy and the Floronic Man having a lengthy chat about how humans push out greenhouse gases and ignore climate change was, well, they did lay it on a bit thick, put it that way. Everybody loves an environmental message in a cartoon, right? Just look at popular film series Norm of the North. So, their dastardly plan is to manufacture a virus that will give every human on the planet an interest in going green. Literally. How very current and topical. Well, anyway, it turns them into human-plant hybrids. It is one of those threats. So, Batman reunites with Nightwing and finds him playing tickle fight with Harley, and they set out to save the world. So we get a load of humorous jokes about what an unlikely team-up this is, including Harley chasing down an ex. And no, to be honest, they do not go far enough with that, beyond surface-level jokes. I do appreciate Batman's dry wit. He probably ends up being the best source of humor in this picture. So also in this movie, we've got Harley Quinn farting, and Batman commenting on the smell, and, oh, 4 more Harley Quinn farts, and then she goes to a bathroom at a gas station. Is that not very humorous? She really needed the toilet. Ha ha ha, that tickles my humor senses. Otherwise, I would be led to believe that this is some sort of fetish movie. We got a lengthy sequence at an out-of-nowhere bar where Harley Quinn sings Hangin' on the Telephone with, well, a dance scene that Well, I must ask, how is anybody supposed to feel about this? Now, I mean absolutely no offense here. And they couldn't get Arlene Sorkin to voice Harley. But Big Bang Theory star Melissa Rauch's voice as Harley is something of an acquired taste. It is fine. It is just different. But this song does not suit her voice. The only redeeming quality of this sequence is, I guess, the cameo from Captain Clown, the criminal teasing Batman by dancing the Batusi, and Batman resisting tapping his fingers on the table. It does leave room open for some actual fan service beyond just the realm of sexual stimulation. Unfortunately, the road trip aspects of this film are only as good as the humor, and given that humor is subjective, and in my opinion, this humor is more irritating than anything else, this makes this something of a tricky film to get through. So, as the trio give chase to Ivy in the Batwing, we then get my personal favorite moment in this film. As the Batwing races by, we hear Shirley Walker's Batman theme. I, the organic channel pup, really do not know how to feel. I am overjoyed to hear this theme once again, but this is the first time we have heard it since the early 2000s. I just wish this moment were in a better movie. So, Harley manages to thwart Ivy by reminding her of their friendship, but Floronic Man continues with the plan. He raises Swamp Thing, who you would expect to join the fight, but no, he just leaves. He is just there for fan service, so it's up to Harley Quinn to save the day by lighting a fart on fire, and that is the movie, aside from an after-credits scene where Harley gets a job using her psychiatric skills as the host of a voyeuristic TV show. Now, as far as this film goes, no, it is nowhere near as bad as Suicide Squad, but it's one of those films where there is not a single scene in the film that has any kind of restraint with the innuendos, and it just feels like a fanfiction written by a horny fanboy, which, if this film is anything to go by, Bruce Timm may well be. Paul Dini, please come back and keep your boy in check. I jest, but I just have to ask, who is this movie for? It has the art style and voice cast of Batman the Animated Series, and even that one musical cue, but its overall content is nothing like it. Ultimately, this film does a disservice to Harley Quinn, Batman the Animated Series, and just was not worth watching as far as I am concerned. It is repetitive, monotonous, and just uncomfortable. It is the kind of film I would never dare watch in a public space with anybody. Imagine trying to explain this one to your organic friends. After searching files for positive feelings, it is that Batman is this film's only redeeming quality, and Kevin Conroy is on form as usual because of how straight he plays it. I guess the voice acting is okay overall. And the animation is a pretty throwback, even if it is not quite as tight as it was in Batman the Animated Series Season 4. Another positive note would be that this does feel like it could have been a backdoor pilot for the DC Universe animated show Harley Quinn, which features Harley Quinn as the leading lady with kind of a wacky, irreverent sense of humor like this film tries but fails at. I just pray that this will not be the last time we visit the universe of Batman the Animated Series, or the last time we hear Shirley Walker's Batman theme used, because I, the organic channel pup, feel that this particular picture is not a good swan song for that theme and this world altogether.
Well, what do you guys think? Comment below and discuss, and as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, why don't you head over to channelpup.net, where we got a blog page called Dr. Blogtopus, and you can also buy merch, such as this nice t-shirt. Oh, look at that, designed it myself. But seriously, hit subscribe, hit the like button, and in the description below is the link to my Patreon and my Twitter. We've hit hard times, so I appreciate all the support I can get. So thank you all for watching, and have a great day. I hope it's a right cracker.